with all the talk about Bannon. Although, I mean, one of the, I think, thematic elements of Trump has been this hard line on immigration, catering very much to the likes of Breitbart. And someone like Steve Bannon now rejoining Breitbart, probably operating a lot more on the outside and maybe more influential there. You know, you had the 5th anniversary of DACA, where you also, I believe you have attorneys general who are trying to force a decision by the Trump administration.
That's right, states.
States, yes. And so state attorneys general, yes, led by Ken Paxton, one of the more conservative members in the state of Texas. So have we had any sense from where the administration is going to land?
Not really. So I just every so often will reach out to the Justice Department and say, have you decided whether you would defend DACA in court if it came to that? And they say, no comment. So every so often I just, get a fresh no comment from them. But basically what's happened is these states attorneys general, and a lot of them helped take down Obama's broader policy on giving reprieve to some undocumented people. They said that that the administration has until early September to get rid of DACA, or they will try to end it in court. So we have no idea whether Trump will just get rid of DACA on his own, whether if it went to court, he would even bother to defend it. He hasn't said. The Justice Department hasn't said. So, I think that spells pretty bad things for DACA. Either they get rid of it on its own, they let it die in court, or maybe they go out and defend it or push for legislation for people, which would be a long-term better solution for them, but we'll see.
I'm curious if you've come across this quandary, because I'm going to preface this by saying I'm not a lawyer, but it seems to me that someone like Jeff Sessions, the Attorney General, and other people in the Trump administration are in a little bit of a bind right now because they are in control of the executive branch. And so if you argue, if you don't defend DACA, you're saying we have less power on immigration than you would have if you defended DACA. And so I think, first of all, this is an attorney general who wants a lot of control over states when it comes to immigration, who wants to, enforce, he wants to basically get rid of sanctuary policies across the country. They have a lot of certainly priorities that they want to impose, with executive power onto the immigration system. And so I have to imagine that there's confusion here about what to do, because on the one hand, you want to get rid of DACA, you hate DACA, this is, an Obama overreach. And on the other hand, you're like, oh, now I'm in power, and if I argue against this, I could undermine the other things that I want to be doing. So I don't know if you've come across that, but it seems like a possibility.
It's definitely, that's definitely would be a reason that it would be nice, I think, for them to not have to deal with it in court, and why they probably aren't that happy with Ken Paxton right now. Or on the other hand, maybe they are happy with Ken Paxton because then they could get rid of it and it wouldn't be their fault per se. It would be because of the courts. But that's definitely a risk, is that you're, making it so that it's precedent that you have less power.
I mean, certainly that's already come up. I mean, you had when state attorneys general successfully sued to stop the broader, the bigger DACA from going into effect. That's cited now in cases by Democratic states attorneys general trying to stop other overreach. They go in and they say, look, 10th Amendment, look, you can't do this. This is our control. And they're citing that case a lot. And, I see it in briefs that I'm reading on issues that aren't even immigration. So I do think that there's a problem there for them.
Yeah. Now, as you mentioned, Elise, perhaps the legislative fix would just be the way to, not only put an end to this debate, but at least, eliminate some of the lingering politics around it. And I know that Lindsey Graham and Dick Durbin had revived the DREAM Act just a couple of weeks ago before Congress went into recess. And I mean, the DREAM Act has always, been contentious, and you've had that dynamic of kind of conservative hardliners who, pretty much view anything providing undocumented immigrants with some level of status or citizenship as amnesty. But now I think with Dreamers, Republicans tend to be a little bit more sympathetic. Do you see a potential for the DREAM Act to go anywhere in this Republican-led Congress?
Probably not. Yeah. And I think they're in such a position, I think a lot of them, that they don't want to be in that I don't think that most of them are dying to take away these things from these people who have done an amazing job over the past more than 10 years of presenting themselves as sympathetic and really getting their stories out there. I don't think somebody like Paul Ryan is dying to have it on him that, they screwed over all these people. At the same time, you're going to have, like you said, Bannon back at Breitbart. Those people, Breitbart, they would go completely crazy if Republicans started pushing for some type of amnesty without anything else. And the question is what you would pair it with so that you could say that you were getting some victory, especially because, you could say, okay, we'll do this so that we can get funding for the wall. They could do that on their own. I mean, so it's what do you pair it with so that you can claim that you're not just giving away amnesty for free without anything else? I don't know.
And as we know, comprehensive immigration reform
that's not
dead on arrival. We learned that lesson in 2013. I mean, more so now than it was then because of the backlash and the Trump factor. I mean, when you have Trump in the White House having campaigned so aggressively against immigration reform, period, let alone comprehensive immigration reform, I'd be hard-pressed to think that outside of funding for the wall and border security measures that they're really moving in any direction toward citizenship.
And I think this idea that, with Bannon out, maybe Trump will become different on immigration. I just don't see that happening. I think that Trump believes what he says on immigration.
First of all, Stephen Miller is still there.